Do you remember the night before the final round of the Sanderson's Farm, who you had dinner with?
I do. I had the pleasure of eating with you. The Tico's or Tito's, the nice steak place with Jonathan Randolph. I think his wife, Hubbard, you, and Howard and I joined. I think there was only 6 of us.
That is correct. Good answer. Good answer. And then, so from the Sanderson, obviously I'm your good luck charm, but we don't have to say that. But so from the Sanderson's Farm, since it's in the fall, you basically get a 3-year exemption. When you think about it, you had the reminder of that year plus 2. Were you like really comfortable the next few years knowing you have full status, and or were you like, was it a good time for you to try to get better, or did you basically know that you had the game to just continue playing with what you have?
I think it's a bit of both. I think now I'm a much better player than I was then. I don't think I was nearly as consistent. I think my swing changed probably a little too much over time. If I was searching a little bit on the range when I was home practicing, I feel like I'm much more regimented in that aspect. But it definitely gave me flexibility if I wanted to work on a few things. I ended up working with Ralph Bauer kind of midway or later in my first year, which was great. Got me going down the right path, and played some decent golf there for a few years. And it really gives you that flexibility of having a 3 exemption, especially out of that Corn Ferry Tour category. That first year you could play great, but if you don't win, you're not going to be guaranteed every start. Where once you get in that winners category, it opens up so many doors, and that was huge for the 3 years to start off your career. Just at least for 2 years, you really have no stress. If you're not playing great, it's obviously frustrating. And I felt like at times I wanted to validate that win, but in the grand scheme of things, of having a job, you don't have to worry about that. So that was the best part about that.
Tell me about Pebble.
Pebble was I guess next level up. It was I thought for a while now the results weren't quite there. I wasn't in contention as much as I liked, but I was shooting a lot of good scores. I felt like all parts of my game were really consistent, making a lot of cuts. And last fall I was in contention a few times. I really felt like that kind of led into Pebble this year, and I putted great that week. I drove it really well. I made a lot of good decisions. Obviously, I chipped in a couple times that last round that really helped. But everything kind of came together that week, as I feel like it does when most people win. But it was just a lot of good stuff, really. It's
such a legendary course. Not only having a tour event every year, but we all know about the U.S. Opens. The Tom Kite chip in, the Tom Watson chip in. Tiger Woods in 2000, obviously dominating the field. And it's a great event. It's one I've been there 7 times now, and it's just a great event. And I was so happy for you when you won that one. Few viewers' questions. David Allard, who's a pro at Laval like me, he wants to know how often do you use a tour van?
Consistently now I'll get my loss and lies checked so they don't get off, over time, playing different conditions. Lofts can get a little closer to each other, so clubs aren't going as far as you might think they are, and lies are important just for direct. I'll use that the most. I'm really not much of a tweaker, so, I've been using my driver for 3 years, so I'll definitely try new clubs. Stuff comes out, but I'm not much of a junkie going into the trailers, but I'll definitely check my specs consistently to make sure that other than that, it's not a whole lot every week.
What's that TaylorMade driver you had forever? Was it the RBZ or something like that?
Yeah, Rocket Balls forever. I have the M2 now that I've had almost 3 years. The Sim Max that I have it's really good. I just haven't been able to practice it quite enough in different conditions. And for me, it's really hard to change because I've had so much success with that driver. So time will tell. It'll get in the bag at some point. But even now, I've been to golf for 8 weeks or so it takes some more time.
Well, hopefully you change your underwears more often than you change drivers, but that's okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sebastian wants to know, how do you manage the family life out on tour? Golf is a very selfish game. It's always about you. So how do you make time for wife and baby?
Yeah, it can be difficult. I felt like that's been a huge boost for me since we've had our son. That time management, but also golf is really not number one anymore. Family, kind of takes the top spot, and it's been fun to have that role shift. It's going to be difficult now traveling with COVID that they won't on the road as much. So picking schedule, I'll have to do a lot more thought around that and how long I want to be away from family, because that's probably the toughest part about our job. So they were going to travel quite a bit. Usually they travel the first part of the year quite a bit, and then summer they're on and off because they like to be back in Canada. But it's difficult. That's probably the hardest part of our job. But we're lucky for them to be able to travel outside of COVID issues. The schedule will be a little different now with having a family.
Kevin wants to know, you kind of touched on how many times you switch clubs and stuff like that. How many clubs do you travel with?
I always have a backup driver. We're so fortunate where if I need a new set of wedges, I can get them made, the Tuesday of the event and get them later that day. So outside of that, I really don't travel with many other clubs. If I'm testing 3-woods, I've had 2 or 3 3-woods, from week to week, quite a bit. But, irons and wedges, I typically want backups traveling with me, but woods, I'll have that. So no more than maybe 16 clubs in my bag, kind of practicing from week to week.
All right, Yogi's rapid fire. You ready?
I don't know if I'm ready, but I'll take it.
Worst shot you've ever hit on tour?
Ooh. I haven't really had any hosel rockets, so I'm very fortunate that I haven't had one of those.
I guess that's a positive.
Speaking of my last tournament was the Players a few years ago. I dumped 2 in the water on 17. I hadn't hit the one in the water every time I played that hole, and it was a Saturday, and I think they actually had an MDF that year, and I was probably right on it or needed birdie, so I kind of forced a lower club for a front pin and dumped 2 in the water. So I think I made a 7. That's probably one of my worst holes that comes to mind.
Was it a good shot though, or you just chunked it?
I didn't chunk it, but I didn't hit it solid enough to get it. Like it had to be hit perfect. And so I think one of them might have hit the wood, but it's not a fun feeling when you're hitting 6 from the tee or whatever it was.
Favorite sports team?
I would say Seahawks. Seahawks.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to go with hockey, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Best courtesy car on tour?
We get very nice cars every week, so it's kind of here nor there. We get Lexus quite a bit that are great. Any kind of fancy car, Mercedes or BMW. So take your pick. They're all great.
Okay. Favorite adult beverage on the golf course?
I don't mix those two a whole lot, but Coors Light, whatever. easy beer.
Light. Not even a Canadian beer? Come on. Other than my swing, a swing you wish you had?
If it comes to finesse and power, it's hard to argue against Rory McIlroy, but Adam Scott's always up there. Those are a couple swings that even certain positions I'll look at, to see comparing wise, but those two are tough to argue against.
Absolutely. Well, Nick Taylor, best of luck, and I hope to see you soon out on tour, my dear friend. And I hope you have a great reminder of 2020 whenever that's going to resume.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me on, Yogi.
All right. Bye-bye.